Hello, my darlings. So lovely to see you again. I know it has been a full week since I was live. The rest of the week I've been dead. Tired. Anyway, welcome to The Gentleman Psychic. Welcome to another edition of a live read. We are reading through Faust. I'm going to give a few moments to allow people to know that I'm here, just to say hello. I'm going to have, will you send that to the Facebook page, please?
Yes, you're early. It's not even 8 o'clock.
Sure it is. It's right on the nose, isn't it?
It's 7:59 now.
Well, it's 7:59 now, so we are perhaps a little early. Hello, Malika. Lovely to see you. I'm rather excited myself today. I got my ballot yesterday, and today I voted in the 2020 election. It doesn't take rocket science, I think, to figure out who I voted for. So if you are following me on any of my other platforms, you pretty well know who I'm voting for. I'm not telling you who you should vote for. I'm telling you that I voted. So that's a good thing. It's a civic duty. Speaking of civic duties, I received a jury duty letter, so I'm not liking that aspect of it. Oh well. Anyway, welcome to The Gentleman Psychic, and I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a good morning, a good day, a good night, wherever you are. If you're watching this in post, I hope you're doing well then, in the future, and I know you are because you're on YouTube watching The Gentleman Psychic. How are you? Tell me how you are. Great? Good. That's what I like to hear. Anyway, I guess we should go ahead and thank you, Malika. I'm glad you are going to be voting the same way. I hope that most people do, by the way. Anyway, I guess we should go ahead and begin. Did you go ahead and share that?
No, because Facebook has changed the way that they've done the new feed setup, so I had to find where you could post something.
Oh, Facebook changes. Changes. Turn and face the change. Little Bowie for you.
I greatly appreciate it.
Let me know when you're on there.
All right, posting now.
So yes, can you post that also to my regular Facebook?
I don't have access to your regular Facebook.
No, but you can post it on my wall, can't you? Oh, you can't because no, you
No,
can't.
you don't allow anybody to post on your wall.
That's right. I don't allow people to post in my wall because people do some crazy things and people say some crazy things. Have you been keeping up with the posts that I've been getting about Satanism and Christians and the weird ones telling me simply repent? That's a lot of fun. Actually, I kind of like I like the hate mail because it breaks up my monotony. I prefer the love mail. I get a lot of love mail, but I do enjoy the hate mail too. Haters and losers. That's not how I voted, by the way. I guess we're good. So that's been posted. Anyway, without further ado, my darlings, we shall continue with Faust. If I can find where I left off. Oh yes, I can find where I left off. Chapter the 5th. Auerbach's cellar in Leipzig. Carousel of jolly companions. Croche. Is no one laughing? No one drinking? I'll teach you how to grin, I'm thinking. Today you're like wet straw, so tame, and usually you're all aflame. Brander. Now that's your fault. From you we nothing see. No beastliness and no stupidity. Frosh pours a glass of wine over Brander's head. There's both together. Brander. Twice a swine. Frosh. You wanted them. I've given you mine. Sybil. Turn out who quarrels out the door. With open throat sing chorus, drink and roar. Apollo ho! Altmare. Woe's me, the fearful bellow! Bring cotton quick, he split my ears, that fellow. Sybil. When the vault echoes to the song, on the one first perceives the bass is deep and strong. Frosh. Well said, and out with him that takes the least offence. Ah, ta-ra, la la da da. Altmare. Ah, tra la la da. Frosh. The throats are turned, commence, sings. The dear old holy Roman realm, how does it hold together? Brander. A nasty song. Fee, a political song, a most offensive song. Thank God each morning, therefore, that you have not the Roman realm to care for. At least I hold it so much gain for me, that I nor chancellor nor Kaiser be. Yet also we must have the ruling head, I hope, and so we'll choose ourselves a pope. You know the quality that can decide the choice and elevate the man. Frosh singing. Soar up, damn nightingale, 10,000 times my sweetheart hail. Sybil. No greet, my sweetheart, not, I tell you, I'll resent it. Frosh. My sweetheart, greet and kiss, I dare you to prevent it. Sings. Draw the latch, the darkness makes. Draw the latch, the lover wakes. Shut the latch, the morning breaks. Sybil. Yes, sing away, sing on, and praise and brag of her. I'll wait my proper time for laughter. Me by the nose she led, and now she'll lead you after. Her paramour should be an ugly gnome, where four roads cross in wanton play to meet her. An old he-goat from Blocksburg coming home, should his good knight in lustful gallop bleat her. A fellow made of genuine flesh and blood is for the wench a deal too good. Greet her, not I, unless when meeting to smash her windows be a greeting. Brander, pounding on the table. Attention! Hearken now to me. Confess, sirs, I know how to live. Enamoured persons here have we, and I, as suits their quality. Must something fresh for their advantage give, take heed, 'tis of the latest cut my strain, and all strike in each refrain. He sings. There was a rat in a cellar nest, whom fat and butter made smother. He had a paunch beneath his vest, like that Dr. Luther. The cook laid poison cunningly, and then as sore oppressed was he, as if he had love in his bosom. Chorus shouting, as if he had love in his bosom. Brander. He ran around, he ran about, his thirst in puddles laving. He gnawed and scratched the house throughout, but nothing cured his craving. He whirled and jumped with torment mad, and soon enough the poor beast had, as if he had love in his bosom. Chorus. As if he had love in his bosom. Brander. And driven at last in open day, he ran into the kitchen, fell on the hearth, and squirming lay. In the last convulsion twitching, then laughed the murderess in her glee. Ha ha! He's at his last gasp, said she, as if he had love in his bosom. Chorus. As if he had love in his bosom. Sybil. How dull fools enjoy the matter! To me it is a proper art, poison for such poor rats to scatter. Brander. Perhaps you'll warmly take their part. Altemeyer. The bald plate pot-belly I have noted. Misfortune tames him by degrees, for in the rat by poison bloated, his own most natural form he sees. Faust and Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles. Before all else, I bring thee hither, where boon companions meet together. to let thee see how smooth life runs away. Here for the folk each day's a holiday. With little wit and ease to suit them, they whirl in narrow circling trails, like kittens playing with their tails, and if no headache persecute them, so long the host may credit give, they merrily and carelessly live. Brander. The fact is easy to unravel. Their air's so odd they've just returned from travel. A single hour they've not been here. Frosch. You verily hit the truth, Leipzig, to me is dear. Paris in miniature, how it refines its people. Sybil. Who are the strangers, should you guess? Frosch. Let me alone. I'll set them first to drinking, and then as one child's tooth draws with cleverness, I'll worm their secret out, I'm thinking. They're of noble house, that's very clear. Haughty and disconnected they appear. Brander. The mountebanks upon a revel. Altemeyer, perhaps. Frosch. Look out, I'll smoke them now. Mephistopheles to Faust. Not we had them by the neck, I vow, would e'er these people scent the devil. Faust. Fair greeting, gentlemen. Sybil. Our thanks we give the same. Murmurs, inspecting Mephistopheles from the side. In one foot is a yellow in one foot is the fellow lame. Mephistopheles. It is permitted that we share your leisure. In place of cheering drink, which one seeks vainly here, your company shall give us pleasure. Altmayer. A most fastidious person you appear. Frosch. No doubt 'twas late when you from Repak started, and supping here with Hans occasioned your delay. Mephistopheles. We passed out without a call today, at our last interview before we parted. Much of his cousins did he speak, entreating that we should give to each his kindly greeting. He bows to Frosch. Altmeyer aside. You have it now, he understands. Sybil. A knave sharp set. Frosch. Just wait a while, I'll have him yet. Mephistopheles. If I'm right, we heard the sound of well-trained voices singing chorus, and truly song must here rebound, superbly from the archer's auras. Frosch. Are you perhaps a virtuoso? Mephistopheles. Oh, no. My wish is great. My power is only so-so. Altmeyer. Give us a song. If you desire, a number. Sybil. So that it be a brand new strain. Mephistopheles. We've just retraced our way from Spain, the lovely land of wine and song and slumber. Things. There was a king once reigning, who had a big black flea. Frosch. Hear, hear, a flea! Downright take the jest. I call a flea a tidy guest. Mephistopheles singing. There once was a king, once reigning, who had a big black flea, and loved him past explaining, as his own son were he. He called his man of stitches, the tailor came straight away. Here, measure the lad for breeches, and measure his coat, I say. Brander. But mind allow the tailor no caprices, and join upon him, as his head is dear, to most exactly measure so and shear, so that the breeches have no creases. Mephistopheles. In silk and velvet gleaming, he now was wholly dressed, had a coat with ribbons streaming, a cross upon his breast. He had the first of stations, a minister's star and name, and also all his relations, great lords at court became. And the lords and ladies of honor were plagued awake in bed. The queen, she got them upon her, the maids were bitten and bled. And and they did not dare to brush them or scratch them day nor night. We crack them, and we crush them at once, whene'er they may bite. The chorus, shouting, we crack and crush them at once, whene'er they may whene'er they may bite. Bravo, bravo, says Faust. That was fine. Sybil. Every flea may it so befall. Brander. Point your fingers and nip them all. Altmaier. Hurrah for freedom! Hurrah for wine! Mephistopheles. I fain would drink with you, my glass to freedom clinking, if 'twere better a wine that here I see you drinking. Sybil. Don't let us hear the speech again. Mephistopheles. Did I not fear the landlord might complain? I treat these worthy guests with pleasure, to some from out our cellars treasure. Sybil. Just treat and let the landlord me arraign. Frosh. And if the wine be good, our praises shall be ample, but do not give too very small a sample. For if its quality I decide, with good mouthful I must be supplied. Altmaier, aside. They're from Rhine. I guessed as much before. Mephistopheles. Bring me a gimlet here. Brander. What shall therewith be done? You've not the casks already at the door? Altmaier. Yonder within the landlord's box of tools there's one. Mephistopheles takes the gimlet. To Faust. Now, give me your taste some intimation. Frosh. How do you mean? How have you so many kinds? Mephistopheles. The choice is free. Make up your minds. Altmaier to Frosh. Aha! You lick your chops from cheer and anticipation. Frosh. Good. If I have the choice, so let it be the wine of the Rhenish. Our fatherland can best be the sparkling cup to replenish. Mephistopheles, boring a hole in the edge of the table at the place where Frosh sits. Give me a little wax to make the stoppers quick. Altmaier. I perceive a juggler's trick. Mephistopheles to Brander. And you? Brander. Champagne shall be my wine, and let it sparkle fresh and fine. Mephistopheles. In meantime, one has made the wax stoppers and plugged the holes with them. Brander. What's foreign one can't always keep quiet clear of. For good things oft are not so near. A German can't endure the French to see or hear of, yet drinks their wines with hearty cheer. Sybil, as Mephistopheles approaches his seat. For me, I grant sour wine is out of place. Fill up my glass with the sweetest, will you? Mephistopheles, boring another hole. Decay shall flow at once to fill you. Altmaier. No, look me, sir, straight in the face. I see you have your fun at our expense. Mephistopheles. Oh no, gentlemen. With a gentleman of such pretense, that were to venture far indeed. Speak out, and make your choice with speed. With what vintage can I serve you? Altmaier. With any, only satisfy our need. After the holes have been bored and plugged, Mephistopheles, with a singular gesture. Grapes the vine stem bears, horns the he-goat wears. The grapes are juicy, the vines are wood. The wooden table gives wine as good. Into the depths of nature peer, only believe there's a miracle here. Now draw the stoppers and drink your fill. As they draw out their stoppers, and the wine which has been desired flows into the glass of each, a beautiful fountain that flows at will. Mephistopheles. But have a care that you nothing spill. They drink repeatedly and sing. As 'twere 500 hogs we feel, so cannibalic joy. Mephistopheles. See now, the race is happy, it is free. Faust. To leave them is my inclination. Mephistopheles. Take notice first their bestiality will make a brilliant demonstration. Sibyl. Drinks carelessly the wine, spills on the earth, and turns into flame. Help, fire! Help, fire! Hellfire is sent! Mephistopheles, charming away the flame. Be quiet, friendly element. To the revellers. A bit of purgatory. 'Twas for this time merely. What mean you? Sibyl, what mean you? Wait, you pay for it dearly. You'll know us to your detriment, Frosh. Don't try that game a second time upon us, Altmere. I think we'd better send them packing quietly. Sibyl. What, sir, you dare to make so free, and play your hocus-pocus on us? Mephistopheles. Be still, old wine-tub. Sibyl. Broomstick, you face it out, impertinent and heady. Brander. Just wait, a shower of blows is ready. Altmere draws a stopper out of the table. Fire flies in his face. I burn, I burn. Sibyl. 'Tis magic strike. The knave is outlawed. Cut him as you like. They draw their knives and rush upon Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles, with solemn gestures. False word and form of air, change place and scent and snare. Be here and there. They stand amazed and look at each other. Altmere. Where am I? What a lovely land. Frosh. Vines, can I trust my eyes? Sibyl. And purple grapes at hand? Brander. Here over this green arbor bending, see what vine, what grapes depending. He takes Sibyl by the nose, the others do the same reciprocally and raise their knives. Mephistopheles as above. Loose error from their eyes the band, and how the devil jests, be now enlightened. He disappears with Faust. The revellers start and separate. Sibyl. What happened? Altmere. How? Frosh. Was that your nose I tightened? Brander to Sibyl. And yours that I still have in hand? Altmere. It was a blow that went through every limb. Give me a chair. I sink, my senses swim. Frosh. But what happened? Tell me now. Sibyl. Where is he? If I catch that scoundrel hiding, he shall not leave alive, I vow. Altmere. I saw him with these eyes upon the wine cask riding, out the cellar door just now. Still in my feet, the fright like lead is weighing. He turns toward the table. Why, if the fount of wine should still be playing, Sibyl, 'twas all deceit and lying false design. Frosh. And yet it seemed as I were drinking wine. Brander. But with the grapes, how was it, pray? Altmere. Shall one believe no miracles? Just say. Chapter 6. The Witch's Kitchen. Upon low earth stands a great cauldron, under which a fire is burning. Various figures appear in vapors which rise from the cauldron. An ape sits beside it, skims it, and watches lest it boil over. The he-ape, with the young one, sits near and warms himself. Ceiling and walls are covered with the most fantastic witch implements. Faust and Mephistopheles. Faust. These crazy signs of witches, craft repel me. I shall recover, dost thou tell me? Through the insane chaotic play, from an old hag shall I demand assistance? And will her foul mess take away? full 30 years from my existence, woe's me, canst thou not better find? Another baffled hope must be lamented. Has nature then, and his noble mind, not any potent balsam yet invented? Mephistopheles. One more, my friend, thou talkest sensibly. There is, to make thee young, a simpler mode, and apter, but in another book 'tis writ for thee, and is a most eccentric chapter. Faust. Yet will I know it. Mephistopheles. Good. The method is revealed without gold or magic or physician. Betake thyself to yonder field, there hoe and dig as thy condition. Restrain thyself, thy sense and will, within a narrow sphere to flourish, with unmixed food thy body nourish. Live with the ox as ox, and think it not a theft, that thou manurest the acre which thou reapest. That, trust me, is the best mode left, whereby for 80 years thy youth thou keepest. Faust. I am not used to that, I cannot stoop to try it, to take the spade in hand and ply it. The narrow being suits me not at all. Mephistopheles. Then to thine aid the witch must call. Faust. Wherefore the hag and her alone? Canst thou thyself not brew the potion? Mephistopheles. That were a charming sport, I own. I'd build 1,000 bridges. Meanwhile, I've a notion. Not art and science serve alone. Patience must in the work be shown. Long is the calm brain active in creation. Time only strengthens the fine fermentation. And all belonging thereunto. I rare and strange, howe'er you take it. The devil taught the things, 'tis true, and yet the devil cannot make it. Perceiving the animals. See what delicate race they be. That is the maid, the man is he. To the animals. It seems thy mistress has gone away. The animals. Carousing today, off and about by the chimney out. Mephistopheles. What time takes she for dissipating? The animals. While we to warm our paws are waiting. Mephistopheles. To Faust. How findest thou the tender creatures? Faust. Absurder than I ever yet did see. Mephistopheles. Why just such talk as this, for me, is that which has the most attractive features to the animals. But tell me how, ye cursed puppets, why do ye stir the porridge so? The animals. We're cooking watery soup for beggars. Mephistopheles. Then a great public you can show. The he-ape comes up and fawns on Mephistopheles. O cast thou the dice, make me rich in a trice, let me win in good season, things are badly controlled, and had I but gold, so had I my reason. Mephistopheles. How would the ape be sure his luck in chances? Could he but try the lottery's chances? In the meantime, the young apes have been playing with a large ball which they now roll forward. The he-ape. The world's the ball, doth rise and fall, and roll incessant, like glass doth ring, a hollow thing. How soon wilt spring and drop puissant? Here bright it gleams, here brighter seems. I live at present, dear son, I say. Keep thou away, thy doom is spoken. 'Tis made of clay, and will be broken. Mephistopheles. What means the sieve? The he-ape, taking it down. Wert thou the chief, I'd know him and shame him. He runs to the she-ape, and lets her look through it. Look to the sieve. Knowest thou the thief who darest not name him? Mephistopheles approaching the fire. And what's this pot? The he-ape and she-ape. The fool knows it not. He knows not the pot. He knows not the kettle. Mephistopheles. Impertinent beast. The he-ape. Take the brush here at least, and sit down on the settle. He invites Mephistopheles to sit down. Faust, who during all this time has been standing before a mirror, now approaching and now retreating from it. What do I see? What heavenly form revealed shows through the glass from magic's fair dominions? O lend me, love, the swiftest of thy pinions, and bear me to her beauteous field. Ah, if I leave this spot with fond designing, if I attempt to venture near, dim as through gathering mist her charms appear, a woman's form and beauty shining, can woman then so lovely be? And must I find her body there reclining? Of all of the heavens the bright epitome, can earth with such a thing be mated? Mephistopheles. Why surely, if a god first plagues himself 6 days, then self-contented bravo says, must something clever be created? This time thine eyes be satiate. I'll yet detect thy sweetheart and ensnare her, and blessed is he who has the lucky fate, some day as the bridegroom home to bear her. Faust gazes continually into the mirror. Mephistopheles, stretching himself out on the settle and playing with the brush, continues to speak. So sit I, like the king upon his throne. I hold the scepter here, and lack the crown alone. The animals, who up to this time have been making all kinds of fantastic movements, together bringing a crown to Mephistopheles with great noise. O be thou so good, with sweat and with blood, the crown to belime. They handle the crown awkwardly, and break it into 2 pieces, with which they spring around. 'Tis done, let it be. We speak and we see, we hear and we rhyme. Faust before the mirror. Woe's me, I fear to lose my wits. Mephistopheles, pointing to the animals. My own head now is really nigh to sinking. The animals. If lucky our hits, and everything fits, 'tis thoughts and we're thinking. Faust as above. My bosom burns with that sweet vision. Let us with speed away from here. Mephistopheles, in the same attitude. One must at least make this admission. They're poets genuine and sincere. The cauldron which the she-ape has up to this time neglected to watch begins to boil over. There ensures a great flame, which blazes out the chimney. The witch comes carrying down through the flame with terrible cries. The witch, ow, 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 ow. The damned beast, she cursed, the cursed sow, to leave the kettle and singe the frau, accursed fair. Perceiving Faust and Mephistopheles. What is that here? Who are you here? What want you thus? Who sneaks to us? The fire pain, burn bone and brain? She plunges the skimming ladle into the cauldron and scatters flames towards Faust, Mephistopheles, and the animals. The animals whimper. Mephistopheles, reversing the brush, which he has been holding in his hand, and striking among the jars and glasses. In two. Here lies the brew, here lies the glass. The joke will pass at time, foul ass, to singing of thy crew. As the witch starts back, full of wrath and horror. Ha! Knowest thou me, abomination thou? Knowest thou at last thy lord and master? What hinders me from smiting now thee and thy monkey sprites with fell disaster? Hast for the scarlet coat no reverence? Dost recognize no more the tall cock's feather? Have I concealed this countenance? Must tell my name, old face of leather. The witch. Oh, pardon, sir, the rough salute, yet I perceive no cloven foot. And both your ravens, where are they now? Mephistopheles. This time I'll let thee scape the debt. For since we two together met, 'tis verily full many a day now. Culture which smooth the whole world licks, also under the devil sticks. The days of that old northern phantom now are over, where canst thou horns and tail and claws discover. And as regards the foot, which canst spare in truth, 'twould only make the people shun me. Therefore I've worn like many a spindly youth, false calves these many years upon me. The witch, dancing. Reason and sense forsake my brain, since I behold Squire Satan here again. Mephistopheles. Woman, from such a name refrain. The witch. Why so? What has it done to thee? Mephistopheles. It's long been written in the book of fable, yet therefore no wit, better men we see. The evil one has left, the evil ones are stable. Sir Baron, call me thou. When is the matter good? A cavalier am I. Like others in my bearing, thou hast no doubt about my whole noble blood. See, here's the coat of arms that I am wearing. He makes an indecent gesture. The witch laughs immoderately. That's just your way, I know. A rogue you are, and you are always so. Mephistopheles to Faust. My friend, take proper heed, I pray. To manage witches, this is just the way. The witch. Wherein, sirs, can I be of use? Mephistopheles. Give us a goblet of well-known juice. But I must beg you of the oldest brewage, the years a double strength produce. The witch. With all my heart. Now here's a bottle, wherefrom sometimes I wet my throttle, which also not the slightest stinks, and willingly a glass I'll fill in, whispering. Yet if this man without due preparation drinks, as well thou knowest within an hour 'twill kill him. Mephistopheles. He is a friend of mine, with whom it will agree, and he deserves thy kitchen's best potation. Come, draw thy circle, speak thine adjuration, and fill thy goblet full and free. The witch. With fantastic gestures, draws a circle and places mysterious articles therein. Meanwhile, the glasses begin to ring, the cauldron to sound and make musical accompaniment. Finally, she brings a great book and stations in the circle the apes, who are obliged to serve as a reading desk and to hold the torches. She then beckons Faust to approach. Faust to Mephistopheles. Now, what shall come of this? The creatures antic, the crazy stuff, the gestures frantic, all the repulsive cheats I view are known to me and hated too. Mephistopheles. Oh, nonsense! That's a thing for laughter. Don't be so terribly severe. She juggles you as doctor now, that after the beverage may work the proper cheer. He persuades Faust to step into the circle. The witch begins to declaim him with much emphasis from her book. See, thus it's done. Make 10 of 1, and be 2, and 2 let be. Make even 3, and rich thou it'll be. Cast o'er the 4 from 5 and 6, the witch's tricks. Make 7 and 8, 'tis finished straight. And 9 is 1, and 10 is none. This is the witch's once one's one. Faust. She talks like one who raves in fever. Mephistopheles. Thou'lt hear much more before we leave her. 'Tis all the same, the book I can repeat. Such time I've squandered o'er the history, a contradiction thus complete. Is always for the wise no less than fools a mystery. The art is old and new, for verily all ages have been taught by the matter, by three, and one, and three, error instead of truth to scatter. They prate and teach, and no one interferes. All from the fellowship of fools are shrinking. Man usually believes, if only words he hears, that also with them goes material thinking. The witch continuing. The lofty skill of science still, from all men deeply hidden, who take no thought to him 'tis brought, 'tis given unsought, unbidden. Faust. What nonsense she declaims before us! My head is nigh to split, I fear. It seems to me as if I hear 100,000 fools in chorus. Mephistopheles. O Sibyl, excellent, enough of adjuration. But hither bring us thy potation, and quickly fill the beaker to the brim. This drink will bring my friend no injuries. He is a man of manifold degrees, and many draughts are known to him. The witch, with many ceremonies, pours the drink into a cup. As Faust sets it to his lips, a light flame arises. Down with it quickly, drain it off. 'Twill warm thy heart with new desire. Art with a devil hand and glove. And wilt thou be afraid of fire? The witch breaks the circle. Faust steps forth. Mephistopheles. And now, away! Thou darest not rest. The witch. And much good may the liquor do thee. Mephistopheles to the witch. Thy wish be upon Walpurgis night expressed, but what boon I have shall then be given unto thee. The witch. Here is a song, which if you sometimes sing, you'll find it of peculiar operation. Mephistopheles to Faust. Come, walk at once. A rapid occupation must start the needful perspiration. And through thy frame the liquor's potence fling. The noble indolescence I'll teach thee then to treasure, and soon thou'lt be aware, what with the keenest thrills of pleasure, how Cupid stirs and leaps on light and restless wings. Faust. One rapid glance within the mirror give me. How beautiful that woman form. Mephistopheles. No, the pardon of all, believe me. Thou soon shalt see alive and warm. Aside. Thou'lt find this drink thy blood compelling, each woman beautiful as Helen. Chapter 7. Beautiful artwork. The street. Faust, Margaret, passing by. Faust. Fair lady, let it not offend you that arm and escort I would lend you. Margaret. I'm neither lady neither fair, and home I can go without your care. She releases herself and exits. Faust. By heaven, the girl is wondrous fair, of all I've seen beyond compare, so sweetly virtuous and pure, and yet a little pert, be sure, the lips so red, the cheeks clear drawn. I'll not forget, while the world rolls on, how she cast down her timid eyes. Deep in my heart imprinted lies. How short and sharp of speech was she. Why, 'twas a real ecstasy. Mephistopheles enters. Faust. Here of that girl I'd have possession. Mephistopheles. What then? Faust. The one who just went by. She? Mephistopheles. She? There? She's coming from confession, of every sin absolved. For I behind her chair was listening nigh, so innocent is she indeed, that to confess she had no need. I have no power or soul so green. Faust. And yet she's older than 14. Mephistopheles, how now, you're talking like Jack Rake, who every flower for himself would take, and fancies there are no favours more, nor honours save for him in store, yet always doesn't the thing succeed. Faust, most worthy pedagogue, take heed. Let not a word of moral law be spoken. I claim, I tell thee, all my right, and if that image of delight rest not within mine arms tonight, at midnight our compact is broken. Mephistopheles, but think the chances of the case. I need at least a fortnight's space to find an opportune occasion. Faust, had I but 7 hours, for all I should not on the devil call, but win her by my own persuasion. Mephistopheles, you almost like a Frenchman prate, yet pray don't take it as an annoyance. Why all at once exhaust the joyance? Your bliss is by no means so great, as if you'd use to get control all sorts of tender rigmarole, and knead and shape her to your thought, as an Italian tale 'tis taught. Faust, without that I have appetite. Mephistopheles, but now leave jesting out of sight. I tell you once and for all that speed with this fair girl will not succeed. By storm she cannot be captured be. By storm she cannot captured be. We must make use of strategy. Faust, get me something the angel keeps. Lead me thither where she sleeps. Get me her kerchief from her breast, a garter that her knee was pressed. Mephistopheles, that you may see how much I'd fain further and satisfy your pain. You will no longer lose a minute. I'll find her room today and take you in it. Faust, and shall I possess her? Mephistopheles, no. Unto a neighbour she must go, and meanwhile thou alone mayest glow with every hope of future pleasure, breathing her atmosphere in fullest measure. Faust, can we go thither? Mephistopheles, 'tis too early yet. Faust, a gift for her I bid thee get. Mephistopheles, presents at once? That's good. He's certain to get at her. Full many a pleasant place I know, and treasure buried long ago. I must perforce look up the matter. Exits. Chapter 8. The Evening. A small, neatly kept chamber. Great pictures. Margaret, plaiting and binding up the braids of her hair. I'd something give, could I but say, who is that gentleman today? Surely a gallant man was he, and of noble family, and much could I in face behold, he wouldn't else have been so bold. Mephistopheles, Faust. Mephistopheles, come in, but gently follow me. Faust, after a moment's silence, leave me alone, I beg of thee. Mephistopheles, prying about, not every girl keeps things so neat. Faust, looking around, O welcome twilight soft and sweet, that breathes throughout this hallowed shrine, sweet pain of love, bind thou what with fetters fleet, the heart that on the dew of hopes must pine. How all around a sense impress of quiet order and content. This poverty what bounty blesses, what bliss within this narrow den is pent. He throws himself into a leathern armchair near the bed. Receive me, thou that in thine open arms departed joy and pain weren't wont together. How oft the children with their ruddy charms hung here around this throne, where sat the father. Perchance my love, amid the childish band, grateful for gifts the holy Christmas gave her, here meekly kissed the grandsire's withered hand. I feel, O maid, thy very soul of order and content around me whisper, which leads thee with its motherly control. The cloth upon thy board bids smoothly thee unroll. The sand beneath thy feet makes whiter, crisper, a dearest hand to give thee 'tis given, to change this hut into a lower heaven. And here, he lifts one of the bed curtains, what sweetest thrill is in my blood! Here could I spend whole hours delaying, here nature shaped as if in sportive playing, the angel bosom from the bud. Here lay the child with life's warm essence, the tender bosom filled and fair, and here was wrought through the holier, purer presence, the form diviner beings wear. And I, what drew me here with power? How deeply am I moved this hour? What seek I? Why so full my heart and sore? O miserable Faust, I know thee now no more. Is there a magic vapor here? I came with lust of instant pleasure, and lie dissolved in dreams of love's sweet leisure. Are we the sport of every changeful atmosphere? And if this moment came she into me, how would I for the fault atonement render? How small the giant lout would be, prone at her feet, relaxed and tender. Mephistopheles. Be quick, I see her returning. Faust. Go, go, I never will retreat. Mephistopheles. Here is the casket, not unmeet, which elsewhere I have just been earning. Here, set it in the press with haste. I swear 'twill turn her head to spy it. Some baubles I thereon have placed, that you might win another by it. True, child is child, and play is play. Faust. I know not, should I do it? Ask, Mephistopheles, ask you pray. Yourself perhaps would keep the bauble, then I suggest 'twere fair and just to spare the lovely day your lust, and spare to me the further trouble. You are not miserly, I trust. I rub my hands in expectation tender. He places the casket in the press and locks it again. Now quick away, the sweet young maiden to betray, so that by wish and will you bend her, and you look as though to the lecture hall you were forced to go, as if stood before you grey and loath, physics and metaphysics both, but away. Enter Margaret with a lamp. It is so close, so sultry here. She opens the window, and yet 'tis not so warm outside. I feel I know not why such fear. Would mother came? Where can she bide? My body's chill and shuddering. I'm but a silly, fearsome thing. She begins to sing while undressing. There is a king in Thole, was faithful till the grave, to whom his mistress dying, a golden goblet he did gave. Naught was to him more precious he drained at every bout. His eyes with tears ran over, as oft he drank thereabout. When came his time of dying, the towns in his land he told, naught else to his heir denying, except the goblet of gold. He sat at the royal banquet with his knights of high degree, in the lofty hall of his fathers, in the castle by the sea. There stood the old carouser, and drank the last life glow, and hurled the hallowed goblet into the tide below. He saw it plunging and filling and sinking deep in the sea. Then fell his eyelids forever, and never more drank he. She opened the press in order to arrange her clothes, and perceives the casket of jewels. How comes that lovely casket here to me? I locked the press most certainly. 'Tis truly wonderful. What can within it be? Perhaps 'twas was brought by some one as a pawn, and mother gave a loan thereon. And here there hangs a key to fit. I have a mind to open it. What is that, God in heaven? Whence came such things? Never beheld I aught so fair, rich ornament such as a noble dame on highest holidays might wear. How would the pearl chain suit my hair? Ah, who may all so splendor own? She adorns herself with the jewelry, and steps before the mirror. Where but the earrings mine alone? One has that once another air. What helps one's beauty, youthful blood? One may possess them well and good. But none the more do others care. They praise us half in pity sure. To gold still tends, on gold depends. All, alas, we are poor. Chapter 9, The Promenade. Faust, walking thoughtfully up and down, to himself, to him Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles. By all love ever rejected, by hell-fire hot and unsparing, I wish I knew something worse, that I might use it for swearing. Faust. What ails thee? What is't that gripes thee, elf? A face like thine beheld I never. Mephistopheles. I would myself unto the devil deliver, if I were not a devil myself. Faust. Thy head is out of order sadly. It much becomes thee to be raving madly. Mephistopheles. Just think the pocket of priests should get the trinkets left for Marguerite. The mother saw them there, and instanter a secret dread began to haunt her. Keen scent has she for tainted air. She sniffs within her a book of prayer, and smells each article to see, if sacred or profane it may be. So here she guessed from every gem that not much blessing came with them. My child, she said, ill-gotten good, ensnares the soul, consumes the blood. Mother, before the mother of God we'll lay it. With heavenly manna she'll repay it. But Margaret thought with sour grimace, a gift horse is not out of place, and truly godless cannot be the one who brought such things to me. A parson came by, the mother bidden. He saw at once where the gain was hidden, and viewed it with favour stealthily. He spake, that its proper view, who overcometh winneth too. The holy church has a stomach healthy, hath eaten many a land as forfeit, and never yet complained of surfeit. The church alone, beyond all question, has for all ill-gotten goods the right digestion. Faust. A general practice is the same, which Jew and king may also claim. Mephistopheles. Then bagged the spangled chains and rings, as if but toadstools were the things, and thanked no less and thanked no more than if a sack of nuts he bore, promised them fullest heavenly pay, and deeply edified were they. Faust. And Margaret? Mephistopheles. Sits unrestful still, and knows not what she should or will, thinks on the jewels day and night, but more on him who gave her such delight. Faust. The darling's sorrow gives me pain. Get thou a set for her again. The first was not a great display. Mephistopheles. Oh yes, the gentleman finds it all child's play. Faust. Fix and arrange it on my will, and on her neighbour try thy skill. Don't be a devil stiff as paste, but get fresh jewels to her taste. Mephistopheles. Yes, gracious sir, in all obedience. Exit Faust. Such an enamored fool in the air would such an enamored fool in air would blow, sun, moon, and all the starry legions, to give his sweetheart a diverting snow. Chapter 10. The neighbor's house. Martha, soloist. God forgive my husband, yet he hasn't done his duty by me. Off in the world he went straight away, left me lie in straw where I lay, and truly I did not to fret him. God knows I loved and cannot forget him. She weeps. Perhaps he's even dead, oh woe! Had I a certificate to show? Margaret comes. Dame Martha, Margaret, what's happened thee? Margaret, I scarce can stand, my knees are trembling. I find a box, the first resembling, within my press of ebony, and things all splendid to behold, and richer far than were the old. Martha, you mustn't tell it to your mother, 'twould go to the priest as did the other. Margaret, ah, look and see, just look and see. Martha, adoring her, oh, what blessed luck for thee. Margaret, but ah, in the streets I dare not bear them, nor in the church be seen to wear them. Martha, yet thou canst often this way wander, and secretly the jewels dawn, walk up and down an hour before the mirror yonder. We'll have our private joy thereon, and then a chance will come, a holiday, when a piece by piece can the things abroad display, a chain at first, then other ornaments. Thy mother will not see, and stories we'll invent. Margaret, whoever could have brought me things so precious that something's wrong, I feel suspicious. A knock. Good heaven! My mother, can that have been? Martha, peeping through the blind. 'Tis some strange gentleman. Come in. Mephistopheles. That I so boldly introduce. Mephistopheles enters. Mephistopheles. That I so boldly introduce me. I beg you, ladies, to excuse me. Steps back reverently on seeing Marguerite. For Martha Sherwetland, I'd inquire. Martha, I am she. What does the gentleman desire? Mephistopheles, aside to her. It is enough that you are she. You've a visitor of high degree. Pardon the freedom I have taken. Will afternoon return again. Of all things in the Martha, aloud, of all things in the world, just here he takes thee for a lady, dear. Marguerite, I am a creature young and poor. The gentleman's too kind, I am sure. The jewels don't belong to me. Mephistopheles. Ah, not alone the jewelry, the look, the manner, both betray. Rejoiced am I that I may stay. Martha, what is your business, I would fain? Mephistopheles. I would I had a more cheerful strain. Take not so unkindly its repeating. Your husband's dead, and sends a greeting. Martha, is dead? Alas, that heart is true. My husband is dead, let me die too. Margaret, ah, dearest dame, let not your courage fail. Mephistopheles, hear me relate the mournful tale. Margaret, therefore I'd never love, believe me. A loss like this to death would grieve me. Mephistopheles, joy follows woe, woe after joy comes flying. Mephistopheles, oh Martha, relate his life's sad close to me. Mephistopheles, in Paudia buried he is lying, beside the good Saint Anthony, within a grave well consecrated, for cool eternal rest created. Martha, he gave you further no commission? Mephistopheles, Yes, one of weight with many sighs. 300 masses by to save him from perdition. My hands are empty otherwise. Martha, what? Not a pocket piece, no jewelry? What every journeyman within this wallet spares, and as a token with him bears, and rather starves or beg than loses? Mephistopheles. Madam, it is a grief to me. Yet on my own word, his cash was put to proper uses. Besides, his penitence was very sore, and he lamented his ill fortune all the more. Margaret, alack that men are so unfortunate. Surely for his soul's sake full many a prayer I'll proffer. Mephistopheles, you well deserve a speedy marriage offer. You are so kind, compassionate. Margaret, oh no, as yet it would not do. Mephistopheles, if not a husband, then a beau for you. It is the greatest heavenly blessing to have a dear thing for one's caressing. Margaret, the country's custom is not so. Mephistopheles, custom or not, it happens though. Martha, continue, pray. Mephistopheles, I stood beside his bed of dying. 'Twas something better than manure, half-rotten straw, and yet he died a Christian, sure, and found that heavier sores to his account were lying. He cried, I found my conduct wholly hateful, to leave my wife, my trade in manner so ungrateful. Ah, the remembrance makes me die. Would of my wrong to her I might be shriven. Martha, now weeping. The dear good man, long since was he forgiven. Mephistopheles, yet she, God knows, was more to blame than I. Martha, he lied. What? On the brink of death he slandered? Mephistopheles, in the last the rose his senses wandered. If I such things but half can judge, he said I had no time to play for gaping freedom. First children, and then work for bread to feed 'em, for bread in the widest sense to drudge, and could not even eat my share in peace and quiet. Martha, had he all love, all faith forgotten in his riot? My work and my worry day and night? Mephistopheles, not so. The memory of it touched him quite. Said he, when I from Malta went away, my prayers for wife and little ones were zealous, and such luck from heaven befell us. We made a Turkish merchantman our prey, that to the Soldan bore a mighty treasure. Then I received as was most fit, since bravery was paid in fullest measure, my proportioned share of it. Martha, say how, say where, if buried, did he own it? Mephistopheles, who knows now whither the four winds have blown it? A fair young damsel took him in her care, as he in Naples wandered round it unfriended, and she much love and much faith to him did bear, so that he felt it till his days were ended. Martha, that villain, from his children thieving, even all the misery on him cast, could not prevent his shameful way of living. Mephistopheles, but see, he's dead therefrom. At last, where I in your place, do not doubt me, I'd mourn him decently a year, and for another, keep meanwhile my eyes about me. Martha, ah, God, another one so dear, as was my first, this world would hardly give me. There never was a sweeter fool than mine, only he loved to roam and leave me, and foreign wenches and foreign wine, and the damned throw of dice indeed. Mephistopheles. Well, well, that might have done. However, if he had only been as clever, and treated your slips with a little heed, I swear with this condition too, I would myself change rings with you. Martha. The gentleman is pleased to jest. Mephistopheles aside. I'll cut away betimes from here. She'd take the devil at his word, I fear. To Margaret. How fares the heart within your breast? Margaret. What means the gentleman? Mephistopheles aside. Oh, sweet, innocent thou art. Aloud. Ladies, farewell. Martha. A moment ere we part. I'd like to have a legal witness. Where, how, and when he died, to certify his fitness. Irregular ways I've always hated. I want his death in the weekly paper stated. Mephistopheles. Yes, my good dame. A pair of witnesses, always the truth establishes. I have a friend of high condition, who'll also add his deposition. I shall bring him here. Martha. Good sir, pray do. Mephistopheles. And, this young lady will be present too? A gallant youth has travelled far, ladies with him delighted are. Margaret. Before him I should blush ashamed. Mephistopheles. Before no king that could be named. Martha. Behind the house in my garden, then, this eve we'll expect the gentlemen. Chapter 11. Faust, Mephistopheles. Faust. How is it under way and soon complete? Mephistopheles. Ah, bravo. Do I find you burning? Well, Marguerite soon will still your yearning. At neighbour Martha's you'll this evening meet. A fitter woman ne'er was made to ply the pimp and gypsy trade. Faust. 'Tis well. Mephistopheles. Yet something is required from us. Faust. One service pays the other thus. Mephistopheles. We've but to make a deposition valid, that now her husband's limbs outstretched and pallid had powder rest in consecrated soil. Faust. Most wise, and first of course we'll make the journey thither. Mephistopheles. Sancta simplicatas. No need of such toil. Depose with knowledge or without it either. Faust. If you've naught better, then I'll tear you your pretty plan. Mephistopheles. Now there you are, O holy man. Is it the first time in your life you've driven to bear false witness in a case? Of God, the world, and all in it has a place. Of man, and all that moves the being of his race. Have you not terms and definitions given, with brazen forehead, daring breast, and, if you'll probe the thing profoundly, knew you so much, and you'll confess it roundly. Here of Sherwetland's death and place of rest. Faust. Thou art, and thou remainest a sophist liar. Mephistopheles. Yes, I knew I not more deeply thy desire. For wilt thou not no lover fairer, poor Margaret flatter and ensnare her, and all thy soul's devotion swear her? Faust. And from my heart. Mephistopheles. 'Tis very fine, thine endless love, thy faith assuring, the one almighty force enduring. Will that too prompt this heart of thine? Hold, O Faust, hold it will. If such my flame, and for the sense of power intense, I seek and cannot find a name, then range with all my senses through creation, craving the speech of inspiration, and call this ardor so supernal, endless, eternal, and eternal. Is that a devilish lying game? Mephistopheles. And yet I'm right. Faust, mark this, I beg thee, and spare my lungs henceforth. Whoever intends to have the right, if but his tongue be clever, will have it certainly. But come, the further talking brings disgust, for thou art right, especially since I must. Chapter 12. The garden. Margaret on Faust's arm, Martha and Mephistopheles walking up and down. Margaret, I feel the gentleman allows me, demeans himself, and shames me by it. A traveller so is used to be, kindly content with any diet. I too well that my poor gossip can ne'er entertain such an experienced man. Faust, a look from thee, a word more entertains than all the lore of wisest brains. He kisses her hand. Margaret, don't incommode yourself. How could you ever kiss it? It is so ugly, so rough to see. What work I do, how hard and steady is it. Mother is much too close as me. Martha, and you, sir, travel always, do you not? Mephistopheles, alas, that trade and duty us to harry. With what pang one leaves so many a spot, and dates not even now, and then to tarry. Martha, in young, wild years it suits your ways, this round and round the world in freedom sweeping, but then come on evil days, and so as bachelor into his grave a creeping, none ever found a thing to praise. Mephistopheles, I dread to see how much fate advances. Martha, then worthy sir, improve betimes your chances. They pass. Margaret, yes, out of sight is out of mind. Your courtesy is an easy grace is, but you have friends in other places, and sensibler than I you'll find. Faust, trust me, dear heart, what men call sensible is oft mere vainly and narrowness. Margaret, how so? Faust, ah, that simplicity and innocence ne'er know themselves their holy value and their spell, that meekness, lowliness, the highest graces, which nature portions out so lovingly. Margaret, so you but think a moment's space on me, all times I'll have to think on you all places. Faust, no doubt, you're much alone? Margaret, yes, for our household small has grown, yet must be cared for, your will and yours own. We have no maid. I do the knitting, the sewing, the sweeping, the cooking, early work, and late in fact. And mother in her notions of housekeeping, it is so exact. Not that she needs so much to keep expenses down, we more than others might take comfort rather. A nice estate was left to us by my father, a house, a little garden near the town. But now my days have less of noise and hurry. My brother is a soldier, my little sister's dead. True, with a child a troubled life I led, yet I would take again, and willing all the worry, so very dear was she. Faust, an angel, if like thee. Margaret, I brought it up, and it was fond of me. Father had died before it was the light, and mother's case seemed hopeless quite. So weak and miserable sin lay, and she recovered then so slowly day by day. She could not think herself of giving the poor wee thing its natural living, and so I nursed it all alone. With milk and water 'twas my own. Lulled up in my lap with many a song, it smiled and tumbled and grew strong. Faust, The purest bliss was surely then thy dower, Margaret. But surely also many a weary hour I kept the baby's cradle near my bed at night, if even stirred I'd guessed it, and waking her, and I must nurse it, warm beside me press it, and oft in quiet it, my bed forsake, and dandling back and forth the restless creature take, then at the washtub stand at morning's break, and then the marketing and kitchen tending, day after day the same thing never ending. One spirit, sir, are thus not always good, but then one learns to relish rest and food. Martha. Yes, the poor women are bad off. Women are bad off, 'tis true. A stubborn bachelor there is no converting. Mephistopheles. It but depends upon the like of you, and I should turn no better ways than flirting. Martha. Speak plainly, sir. Have you no one detected? Has not your heart been anywhere subjected? Mephistopheles. The proverb says one's own warm hearth and a good wife are gold and jewels worth. Martha. I mean, have you not felt desire, though nearer so slightly? Mephistopheles. I've everywhere, in fact, been entertained politely. Martha. I meant to say, were you not touched in earnest ever? Mephistopheles. One should allow oneself to jest with ladies never. Martha. Ah, you don't understand. Mephistopheles. I'm sorry I'm so blind, but I'm sure that you are very kind. They pass. Faust. And me, thou angel, didst thou recognize as through the garden gate I came? Did you not see it? Margaret. Did you not see it? I cast down mine eyes. Faust. And thou forgivest my freedom, and the blame to my impertinence befitting, as the cathedral thou wert quitting. Margaret. I was confused, the like ne'er happened to me. No one could ever speak to my discredit. Ah, thought I, in my conduct as he read it, something immodest or unseemly free? He seemed to have the sudden fleeing. What with his wench 'twere very easy dealing. I will confess, I know not what appeal on your behalf here in my bosom grew, but I was angry with myself to feel that I could not be angrier with you. Faust. Sweet darling. Margaret. Wait a while. She plucks a star flower and pulls off the leaves one after another. Faust. Shall that a nosegay be? Margaret. No, it's just in play. Faust. How? Margaret. Go, you'll laugh at me. She pulls off the leaves and murmurs. Faust. What murmurest thou? Margaret half aloud. He loves me. He loves me not. Thou sweet, angelic soul, says Faust. Margaret continues. He loves me not, loves me not. Plucking the last leaf, she cries with frank delight, He loves me! Faust. Yes, child, and let this blossom word for thee be speech divine. He loves thee. Ah, knowest thou what it means? He loves thee. He grasps both of her hands. Margaret. I'm all a tremble. Faust. Oh, tremble not, but let this look. Let this warm clasp of hands declare thee what is unspeakable, to yield one wholly, and to feel a rapture, and yielding what must be eternal. Eternal, for the end would be despair. No, no, no ending, no ending. Martha coming forward. The night is falling. Mephistopheles. Aye, we must away. Martha. I'd ask you longer here to tarry, but evil tongues in this town have full play. It is as if nobody had nothing to fetch and carry, nor other labour, but spying all the doings of one's neighbour, and one becomes the talk, do whatsoe'er one may. Where is our couple now? Mephistopheles. Flown up the alley yonder, the wilful summer birds. Martha. He seems of her still fonder. Mephistopheles. And she of him. So runs the world away. Chapter 13. A garden arbor. Margaret comes in, conceals herself behind the door, puts her finger to her lips, and peeps through the crack. Margaret. He comes. Faust entering. Ah, rogue, a tease thou art, I have thee. He kisses her. Margaret clasping him and returning to the kiss. Dearest man, I love thee from my heart. Mephistopheles knocks. Faust, stamping his foot. Who's there? The deep, mysterious miracles unfold, and when the perfect moon before my gaze comes up with soothing light around me float. From every precipice and thicket damp, the silvery phantoms of the ages past, the temper and the austere delight of thought, that nothing can be perfect unto man, I now am conscious with this ecstasy, which brings me nearer and nearer to the gods. Thou gavest the comrade whom I know now no more can do without. Though cold and scornful, he demeans me to myself, and with a breath a word transforms thy gifts to nothingness. Within my breast he fans a lawless fire, unwearied for that fair and lovely form, thus in desire. I hasten to enjoyment, and in enjoyment pine to feel desire. Mephistopheles enters. Mephistopheles. Have you not led this life quite long enough? How can a further test delight you? 'Tis very well that once one tries the stuff, but something new must then requite you. Faust. Would there were other work for thee? To plague my day auspicious thou returnest? Mephistopheles. Well, I'll engage to let thee be. Thou darest not tell me so in earnest. The loss of thee were truly very slight, a comrade crazy, rude, repelling. One has one's hands full all the day and night, if what one does or leaves undone is right. From such a face as thine there is no telling. Faust. There is again thy proper tone. That thou hast bored me, I must thankfully be. Mephistopheles. Poor son of the earth, how couldst thou thus alone have led thy life, bereft of me? I, for a time at least, have worked thy cure. Thy fancy rickets plague thee not at all. Had I not been, so hadst thou sure walked thyself off this earthly ball. Why, here to caverns, rocky hollows, slinking, sittest thou, as 'twere an owl a-blinking? Why suckest from sodden moss and dripping stone, toad-like thy nourishment alone? A fine way this, thy time to fill, the doctor's in thy body still. Faust. What fresh and vital forces canst thou guess spring from my commerce with the wilderness? But if thou hadst the power of guessing, thou wouldst be devil enough to grudge my soul the blessing. Mephistopheles. A blessing drawn from supernatural fountains, in night and dew to lie upon the mountains, all heaven and earth in rapture penetrating, thyself to godhood haughtily inflating. To grub with yearning, force through earth's dark marrow, compress the 6 days' work within thy bosom narrow. To haste I know not what in haughty power thine ecstatic life on all things shower, thine earthly self behind thee cast, and then the lofty instinct thus, with a gesture, at last, I daren't say how to pluck the final flower. Faust, shame on thee. Mephistopheles, yes. Thou findest that unpleasant. Thou hast the moral right to cry me shame at present. One dares not that before chaste ears declare, which chaste hearts notwithstanding cannot spare. And once for all I grudge thee not the pleasure of lying to thyself in modest measure. But such a course thou wilt not long endure. Already art thou o'er excited, and if it last, wilt soon be plighted to madness and to horror sure. Enough of that, thy love sits lonely yonder, by all things saddened and depressed. Her thoughts and yearnings seek thee tender fonder. A mighty love is in her breast. First came thy passion's flood, and poured around her, as when from melted snow a streamlet overflows. Thou hast therewith so filled and drowned her, that now thy stream shall all shallow shows. Methinks instead of it, in the forest lording, the noble sir should find it good, the love of his young silly blood, at once to set about rewarding. Her time is miserably long. She haunts her window, watching clouds that stray o'er the old city wall and far away. Were I a little bird, so runs her song, day long and half the night long. Now she is lively, mostly sad, now wept beyond her tears, then again quite quiet she appears, always love mad. Faust. Serpent! Serpent! Mephistopheles aside. I do trap thee. Faust. Get thee away with thine offences, reprobate. Name not that fairest thing, nor the desire for her sweet body bring again before my half-distracted senses. Mephistopheles. What wouldst thou then? She thinks that thou art flown, and half thou art, I own. Faust. Yet I am near, and love keeps watch and ward. Though I were ne'er so far, it cannot falter. I envy even the body of the Lord, the touching of her lips before the altar. Mephistopheles. 'Tis very well. My envy oft reposes on your own twin pair that feeding among the roses. Faust. Away with you, pimp. Mephistopheles. You rail, and it is fun to me. The god who fashioned youth and made perceived the noblest purpose of his trade, and also made their opportunity. Go on. It's a woe profound. 'Tis for your sweetheart's room you are bound, and not for death indeed. Faust. What are within her arms the heavenly blisses? Though I be glowing with her kisses, do I not always share her need? I am the fugitive, all houseless roaming, the monster without air or rest, like a cataract down rocks and gorges foaming, leaps maddened into the abyss's breast. And sidewards she, with young, unwakened senses, within her cabin on the alpine field, her simple, homely life commences, her little world therein concealed, and I, God's hate flung o'er me, had not enough to trust the stubborn rocks before me, and strike them into dust. She and her peace I yet must undermine. Thou, hell, hast claimed this sacrifice as thine. Help, devil, through the coming pangs to push me. What must be, let it be quickly be. Let fall on me her fate, and also crush me. One ruin whelm both her and me. Mephistopheles. Again it seethes, again it glows. Thou fool, go in and comfort her. When such a head as thine no outlet knows, it thinks the end must soon occur. hail him, who keeps a steadfast mind. Thou else dost well the devil nature wear. Not so insipid in the world I find, as is a devil in despair. I think we can go on a little bit longer.
It's only 9:30.
Margaret's Room, Chapter 10. Margaret at the spinning wheel alone. My peace is gone, my heart is sore. I never shall find it, ah, never more. Save I have him near, the grave is here. The world is all, and bitterness all. My poor weak head is raked and crazed. My thought is lost, my senses mazed. My peace is gone, my heart is sore. I never shall find it, ah, never more. To see him, him only, at the pain I sit. To meet him, him only, the house I quit. His lofty gait, his noble size, the smile of his mouth, the power of his eyes, and the magic flow of his talk, and the bliss in the clasp of his hand, and his kiss. My peace is gone, my heart is sore. I never shall find it, ah, never more. My bosom yearns for him alone. Ah, dared I clasp him, and hold, and own, and kiss his mouth to heart's desire, and on his kisses at last expire. Chapter 16. Martha's Garden. Margaret and Faust. Margaret. Promise me, Henry. Faust. What I can. Margaret. How is it with thy religion, pray? Thou art a dear good-hearted man, and yet I think dost not incline that way. Faust. Leave that, my child. Thou knowest my love is tender. For love my blood and life would I surrender. And as for faith and church, I grant to each his own. Margaret. That's not enough. We must believe thereon. Faust. Must we? Margaret. Would that I had some influence. Then too thou honourest not the holy sacraments. Faust. I honour them, I honour them. Margaret, desiring no possession. 'Tis long since thou hast been to mass or to confession. Believest thou in God? Faust. My darling, who shall dare, I believe in God, to say? Ask priest or sage the answer to declare, and it will seem a mocking play, a sarcasm on the asker. Margaret, thou believest not. Faust. Hear me not falsely, sweetest countenance. Who dare express him, and who profess him, saying I believe in him, who feeling, seeing, deny his being, saying I believe him not? The all-enfolding, the all-upholding, folds and upholds he not thee, me, himself? Arches not there the sky above us? Lies not beneath us firm the earth? And not rise on us shining, friendly the everlasting stars? Look I not eye to eye on thee, and feelest not thronging to head and heart the force, still weaving its eternal secret, invisible, visible round thy life, vast as it is, fill with that force thy heart? And when thou in the feeling wholly blessed art, call it then what thou wilt. Call it bliss, heart, love God. I have no name to give it. Feeling is all in all. The name is sound and smoke obscuring heaven's clear glow. Margaret. All that is fine and good to hear to so, much the same way the preacher spoke, only with slightly different phrases. Faust. The same thing in all places, all hearts that beat beneath the heavenly day, each in his language say, then why not I and mine as well? Margaret. To hear it thus, it may seem passable, and yet some hitch isn't there must be, for thou hast no Christianity. Faust. Dear love. Margaret. I've long been grieved to see that thou art in such company. Faust. How so? Margaret. The man who with thee goes, thy mate, Within my deepest inmost soul I hate. In all my life there's nothing has given me my heart so keen a pang of loathing as his repulsive face has done. Faust. Nay, hear him not, my sweetest one. Margaret. I feel his presence like something ill. I've else for all I kindly will, but much as my heart to see thee yearneth, the secret horror of him returneth, and I think the man a knave as I live. If I do him wrong, may God forgive. Faust. There must be such queer birds, however. Margaret. Live with the like of him may I never. When once inside the door comes he looks around so sneeringly, and half in wrath, one sees that in nothing no interest he hath. 'Tis written on his very forehead, that love to him is a thing abhorred. I am so happy on thine arm, so free, so yielding, and so warm, and in his presence stifled seems my heart. Faust. Foreboding angel that thou art. Margaret. It overcomes me in such degree, that whosoe'er he meets us, even I feel as though I'd lost my love for thee. When he is by, I could not pray to heaven, that burns within me like a flame, and surely, Henry, 'tis with thee the same. Faust. There now, is thine antipathy? Margaret. But I must go. Faust. Ah, shall there never be a quiet hour to see us fondly plighted, with breast to breast and soul to soul united? Margaret. Ah, if only I slept alone, I would draw the bolts tonight for thy desire, but mother sleep so light has grown, and if we were discovered by her, 'twould be my death upon the spot. Faust. Thou angel, fear not, here is a phial in her drink. But 3 drops of it measure, and deepest sleep will on her senses sink. Margaret. What would I not to give thee pleasure? It will not harm her when one tries it. Faust. If 'twould, my love, would I advise it? Margaret. Ah, dearest man, if but thy face I see, I know not what compels me to thy will. So much have I already done for thee, that scarcely more is left me to fulfill. Exits. Enters Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles. The monkey. Is she gone? Faust. Hast played the spy again? I've heard most fully how she drew thee. The doctor has been catechised, 'tis plain. Great good, I hope, the thing will do thee. The girls have much desire to ascertain. If one is prim and good, as ancient rules compel, if there he's led, they think he'll follow them as well. Faust. Thou monster, wilt nor see nor own how this pure soul of faith so slowly, so loving, infallible, thy faith alone? Faust. That her, sorry, that was still, yeah, Faust. That her salvation is with scruples holy, pines lest she hold alost the man she loves so well? Mephistopheles. Thou full of sensual, supersensual desire, a girl by the nose is leading thee. Faust. Abortion thou of filth and fire? Mephistopheles. And then how masterly she reads physiognomy. When I am present, she's impressed, she knows not how. She in my mask a hidden sense would read. She feels that surely I'm a genius now. Perhaps the very devil, indeed. Well, well. Tonight? Faust. What's that to thee? Yet my delight will be also. 17. At the fountain. Margaret and Elizabeth with pitchers. Elizabeth. Hast nothing heard of Barbara? Margaret. No, not a word. I go so little out. Elizabeth. 'Tis true. Sibelia said today. She's played the fool at last, there's not a doubt. Such taking on of airs. Margaret. How so? Lisbeth. She's feeding too, when she eats and drinks. Margaret. Ah. Lisbeth. And so that last it serves her rightly. She clung to the fellow so long and so tightly. That was promenading, at village and dance parading. As the first they must everywhere shine, and he treated her always to pies and wine. And she made a to-do with her face so fine, so mean and shameless was her behavior. She took all the presents the fellow gave her. 'Twas kissing and coddling and on and on. So now at the end the flower is gone. Margaret. The poor, poor thing. Lisbeth. Dost pity her at that? When one of us at spinning sat, and Mother Nights ne'er let us out the door, she sported with her paramour. On the door bench in the passage dark, the length of time they'd never mark. So now her head no more she'll lift, but do church penance in her sinner's shift. Margaret. He'll surely take her for his wife. Lisbeth. He'd be a fool. A brisk young blade has room elsewhere to ply his trade. Besides, he's gone. Margaret. That's not fair. Lisbeth. If him she gets, why let her beware. The boy shall dash her wreath on the floor, and we'll scatter chaff on the door. Margaret, returning home. How scornfully I once reviled when some poor maiden was beguiled. More speech than any tongue suffices I crave to censure others' vices. Black as it seemed, I blackened still, and blacker yet was in my will, and blessed myself and boasted high, and now a living sin am I. Yet all that drove my heart thereto, God, was so good, so clear, so true. Chapter 18. Don John. In a niche of the wall, a shrine with the image of the Mater Dolorosa, pots of flowers before it. Margaret, putting fresh flowers in the pots. Incline, O maiden, thou sorrow-laden, thy gracious countenance upon my pain. The sword thy heart in, what with anguish smarting, thou lookest up to where thy son is slain. Thou seest the father, and sad sighs gather, and bear aloft thy sorrow and his pain. Ah, past guessing, beyond expressing, the pangs that wring my flesh and bone. Why this anxious heart so burneth? Why it trembleth? Why it yearneth? Knowest thou, and thou alone. Where'er I go, what woe and sorrow within my bosom aches. Alone, unsleeping, I'm weeping, the heart within me breaks. The pots before my window, alas, my tears did wet, as in the early morning for thee these flowers I have set. Within my lonely chamber the morning sun shone red. I sat in utter sorrow already in my bed. Help, rescue me from death and stain, O maiden, thou sorrow-laden, incline thy countenance upon my pain. Chapter 14. Night. Valentine, a soldier, Margaret's brother. When I have sat at some carouse, where each to each his brag allows, and many a comrade prays to me his pink of girls right lustily, with brimming glass that spilled the toast, and elbows planted as in boast. I sat in unconcerned repose, and heard the swagger as it rose, and stroking then my beard, I'd say, smiling the bumper in my hand, each well enough in their own way, but is there one in all the land like Sister Margaret, good as gold, one that to her can a candle hold? Cling clang, here's to her, went around the board. He speaks the truth, cried some, in her the flower the sex is found, and all the swaggerers were dumb And now I could tear my hair with vexation, and dash out my brains in desperation. With turned up nose each scamp my face me, with sneers and stinging taunts disgrace me, and like a bankrupt debtor sitting, a chance dropped word may set me sweating. Yet though I thresh them all together, I cannot call them liars either. But what comes sneaking there to view? If I mistake not, there are two. If he's one, let me at him drive. He shall not leave the spot alive. Faust and Mephistopheles. Faust. How from the window of scarcity upward the eternal lamp sends forth a glimmer, that lessening sidewards fainter grows and dimmer, till darkness closes from the sky, the shadow thus within thy bosom gather. Mephistopheles. I'm like a sentimental tomcat, rather, that round and tall fair ladders sweeps, and stealthy then along the coping creeps. Quite virtuous withal I come, a little thievish and a little frolicsome. I feel in every limb the presage, forerunning the grand Walpurgis night. Day after tomorrow brings its message, and one keeps watch then with delight. Faust. Meanwhile, may not the treasure risen be, which there behind I glimmering see? Mephistopheles. Shalt soon experience the pleasure to lift the kettle with its treasure. I lately gave therein a squint, saw splendid lion dollars in it. Faust. Not even a jewel, not a ring, to deck therewith my darling girl? Mephistopheles. I saw among the rest a thing that seemed to be a chain of pearl. Faust. That's well indeed, for painful is it to bring no gift when her I visit. Mephistopheles. Thou shouldst not find it so annoying, without return to be enjoying. Now, while the sky leads forth its starry throng, thou'lt hear a masterpiece, no work completer. I'll sing her, first a moral song, the surer afterwards to cheat her, sings to the zither. What dost thou here in daybreak clear, Katharina dear? Before thy lover's door, beware the blade, let's in a maid, that out a maid depareth nevermore. The coaxing shun of such an one, when once 'tis done, good night to thee, poor thing. Love's time is brief, unto no thief be warm and lief. But with the wedding ring, Valentine comes forward. Whom wilt thou lure? God's element? Rat-catching piper, thou perdition? To the devil, first the instrument, to the devil, then the cursed musician. Mephistopheles. The zither's smashed, for nothing's more 'tis fitting. Valentine. There's yet a skull I must be splitting. Mephistopheles to Faust. Sir Doctor, don't retreat, I pray. Stand by, I'll lead if you'll but tarry. Out with your spit, without delay. You've but a lunge, and I will parry. Valentine. Then parry that. Mephistopheles. Why not? 'Tis light. Valentine. That too. Mephistopheles. Of course. Valentine. I think the devil must fight. How is it, then? My hand's already lame? Mephistopheles to Faust. Thrust home. Oh, God! Valentine falls. Mephistopheles. Ha! Now is the lubra tame. But come away, 'tis time for us to fly. For there arises now a murderous cry. With the police 'twere easy to compound it, but here the pernal court will sift and sound it. Exit with Faust. Martha at the window. Come out, come out. Margaret at the window. Quick, bring a light, Martha as above. They swear and storm and yell and fight. People, here lies one dead already, see? Martha coming from the house. The murderers, whither have they run? Margaret coming out. Who lies here? People, 'tis thy mother's son. Margaret. Oh, almighty God, what misery! Valentine. I am dying. That is quickly said, and quicker yet 'tis done. Why howl you women here? Instead, come here and listen, every one. All gather round him. My Margaret, see, still young thou art, but not the least bit shrewd or smart. Thy business thus to slight. So this advice I bid thee heed. Now that thou art whore indeed, why be one then outright? Margaret. My brother God, such words to me. Valentine. In this game, let our Lord God be. What's done already's done, alas, what follows it must come to pass. With one begins thou secretly, then soon will come, others will come to thee. And when dozen thee have known, thou art also free to all the town. When shame is born and first appears, she is in secret brought to light, and then they draw the veil of night over her head and ears. Her life, in fact, they're loath to spare her, but let her growth and strength display. She walks abroad unveiled by day, yet is not grown a whit the fairer, the uglier she is to sight. The more she seeks the day's broad light, the time I verily can discern, when all the honest folk will return from thee, thou jade, and seek protection, as from a corpse that breeds infection. Thy guilty heart shall then dismay thee, when they but look thee in the face, shalt not in golden chain array thee, nor at the altar take thy place, shalt not in lace and ribbons flowing make merry when the dance is going, but in some corner woe betide thee, among the beggars and cripples hide thee, and so thou even God forgive, on earth a damned existence live. Martha. Command your soul to God for pardon, that your heart with slander harden. Valentine. Thou pimp, most infamous, be still. Could I thy withered body kill? 'Twould bring for all my sinful pleasure forgiveness in the richest measure. Margaret, my brother, this is hell's own pain. Valentine. I tell thee, from thy tears refrain. When thou from honor didst depart, it stabbed me to my very heart. Now, through the slumber of the grave, I go to God as soldier and brave. Dies. Well, that's pleasant. Chapter 20. The Cathedral.
You are at the 2 hour mark, by the way.
I am at the 2 hour mark. Right on.
Just about 57.
You know what? We will finish this one. I might finish this one this week because I would like to go on and read other things. So we're going to stop there at this hour. Make certain to like and subscribe, share the videos. If you would like to leave any kind of donation, you can leave it at my PayPal, which is my email, rlillard6@gmail.com. At my Patreon, find me on Patreon under The Gentleman's House. You can find me on Venmo under Richard-Lale-Lillard. If you would like to leave anything that you would like, it would be much appreciated. If you can't, I love to have you here. I really, really appreciate you. I know you're still here. We've got several that still are, but it looks like we might have another. Let's see, this is chapter 20. Let's just see how far it goes, my darlings, because I don't know. I will read this week. I'm not certain what day. It will not be a 2-hour one because it's got 5 more chapters. So that might be a little long. 5 more chapters. I will finish it this week. I don't know when yet, but I will post it on my Facebook page. Anyway, I appreciate you. When we come back next week, we will be reading The Wizard of Oz. I figured because we're doing the month of witches, that would be perfect since it's got witches and wizards. Again, the Gentleman's House on Patreon, r-lillard on Venmo, PayPal, rlillard6@gmail.com. Anyway, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here with me. And thank you for listening to the story. I'm really enjoying it. I really hope you are. Share it. Make certain that people enjoy. Anyway, love you. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.